Hey guys, welcome to today's YouTube video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play the London system. Probably the most versatile opening within chess. You can play it against basically everything. So yeah, I'm going to first show you like the ideal London, the setup you're going to try and go for, and then I'm going to show you what to do against various different openings and some ideas associated with that. So the London starts off after d4, d5, well, one of the ways it starts. And bishop f4 is the way I like to start it. So basically the setup is going to be bishop f4, and after whatever black does, you're going to play e3. And this is like how you'll see most Londons start off nowadays. It used to start off with knight f3 and then bishop f4 and e3, but this is faster and a more flexible way of doing it. So after c5, the most common response, you're just going to develop the knight, and then after you develop this knight, you want to set up this little pawn triangle. Some people call it a pyramid, but I think it's more fitting if I call it a triangle since it's not 3D. So yeah, after that, I'm just going to show you the ideal setup. So in this variation, black is going to play a little passively, but essentially you want to be putting your bishop on d3, and if black plays c4, you put it back on c2 since you already pushed this pawn to c3. And then after black plays whatever move, you want to develop your other knight to d2. Some people do this, but I don't think that is a correct way of playing the London, especially since your bishop wants to be on c2. So yeah, after that, you're just going to castle, and this is like the ideal London position. But I want to go a little bit further than that, since I don't want you to just be like, okay, I have the London, and then you get to this position and you have no idea what to do. So one thing I'd recommend is playing h3. It's a good habit to make space for your king, and also it's an extra square for your bishop to run back to if you don't want to trade bishop for knight, which you usually do not want to. If black plays c4, again, put your bishop back to c2. If you don't play h3 and black plays, for example, let's say you just play like a3. If black plays bishop to d6, a lot of people just say bishop back to g3, and this is a very good practice. If they take, you just take back with the h-pawn. Although after you're castled, I prefer the strategy of just leaving your bishop here. And if black takes, just take back with the pawn. And now you have a nice outpost for your knight on e5. You can bring your your queen over after you put your knight on to e5 to g3 and get a nice attack on the king. So here's another common way that black plays. Instead of bishop d7, black can take the pawn on d4, and you're actually going to take away from the center. And the main reason for this is just to create more space in the center for your bishop, like maybe if you want to retreat your bishop, which you may want to do that in some cases, but it also opens up the e-file for after you castle, so you can put your rook on e1 and it has a semi-open file to be on, which is nice. So yeah, I think in this one I show what happens when you play bishop d6 and you just go back since you're not castled yet. After takes, you want to take with the h-pawn, and now your rook is staring at the h7 pawn, which is nice. So after castles, you're going to go after the black light squared bishop. Just take it. It doesn't have any good squares to run to, so you're guaranteed to take it. And yeah, that does it for the ideal example. And now I'm going to show you what to do against the most common one, in my opinion, is the Indian setup. So after d4, knight f6, I actually recommend just switch what you play and don't play the London. This is what a lot of other London players say to do as well. Instead of playing like the bishop f4 setup, play knight c3, and after g6, play e4. You have two pawns in the center, You have two nice pawns controlling the center, your knight supporting this pawn. You want to be playing bishop f4, queen d2, and going after the fianchettoed bishop, which I show here. So you're just going to go after this bishop. And after e5 here, you're already like slightly better after you take, and play f3. And basically the main idea here is you want to be playing g5, h4, and h5, g4, sorry, not g5. g4, h4, and h5. Open up the h file for your rook, get in a very nice attack with your queen. You're always going to be castling long here, so just remember, good habits with castling long is play king b1 if you have like a move that you don't really know what to do. So yeah, that does it for the Indian setup. I'm going to show you a quick little trick against the Dutch setup, which in my experience is uncommon. I actually recommend playing the Staunton Gambit. So after f takes e4, queen h5 check, g6, I personally recommend a silly line with bishop e2. It's quite dubious, but the idea is if black takes your queen, it is checkmate on h5. There's nothing that can block the check, and black is suffocated by its other pieces. I think I actually had a game like this in my bullet video a week or so back, and I was just dying of laughter because it's just so hilarious when this happens and they actually take your queen and you just checkmate them on move 5. It's just an amazing feeling. Yeah, I recommend that, but if you want to play more sound, just study the Staunton Gambit. It's a solid line. Yeah, next is the London versus what I'm calling the Slav. Apologies for the position there. But essentially, black plays a Slav defense against the London, which is inaccurate since you actually want your knight to be on c6 and your pawn to be on c5. Yeah, after c3 and bishop f5, I like the c4 setup. So you're kind of transitioning to like a London Queen's Gambit hybrid, but it's a very good line against this way of playing. So you're just going to develop normally after this, and after they create their own little triangle, since they kind of just like to play a reverse London, that's what this should be named. This is the reverse London for black. Black is playing a London. If you look at the black side, they put the bishop on f5, the pawn triangle set up now. They're going to be playing like these moves next. Yeah, they have a reverse London. So I recommend playing slightly more aggressively against it. You want to be playing c4, queen b3. After black plays queen b6, they've all actually already fallen for like a little trap, which you're just basically better out of the opening. And after queen takes b3, which is actually what you want, maybe a little odd since you're ruining your pawn structure, but essentially the idea is you want to use this pawn now to go and chip away at black's pawn structure. It's going to be supported on b5 by the bishop, so you don't really have to worry about just losing flat out pawn. So yeah, I show this idea, and after a6, you just want to fling this pawn forward. For example, you can already play it here, because if black takes here, it's just a full rook. So if black takes this way, you can just take back with a bishop, and same thing, if black takes with the a6 pawn, you take the rook, and it's a free rook. So that's slightly way more aggressive way of playing against this, which is actually good. It's a very solid line. In this position, you're already +1. That's why you'll see some grandmasters or London players call this like an opening trap, because they just are playing a dubious line against the London. I believe that does it for all my examples today. You can play the London against basically anything. It's not very theory heavy. It's just a nice setup to know. I don't play the London very often personally, but I do know the setup, and I can definitely play it at a relatively high level. Yeah, good luck in your games. Try this out. It's a very solid opening. You can get some nice attacking games in it. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow.